evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo De Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and remember, you can watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. For the second time in 3 seasons, the UAAP Cheerdance crown is back in Moraita with the Far Eastern University. Joining us tonight are the champs themselves. It's Sara Quintero, Aaron Ayalin, Brit Gonzaga, and Coach Randel Ballesteros. Congratulations! Welcome to the game. Coach, I want to start off with you first kasi I think sa generation, well, ng team, ikaw lang yung nakalaro ng Super Mario talaga eh. So could you explain to us a bit, first of all, yung inception ng idea ninyo for this team, and of course, how you gave yung message na yun sa team?
We wanted to step away from a usual team, no, na pop icon. Kasi nung 2018, 70s music kami. Tapos Michael Jackson 2019, then Queen, then Francis M. So Francis M. So sabi namin, layo tayo kasi nagpapapay ko na rin yung iba eh. So, para mag-stand out tayo. And, yun, very timely naman kasi lumabas yung movie na Super Mario Brothers. So, sabi ko parang, actually, I was driving home, no?
Tapos, Super Mario Kart ka?
Okay. Hindi naman. Hindi ako kasya. Ano lang, na parang naisip ko lang siya. Tapos, sinabi ko sa kanila. Tapos, yun, nag-agree naman kami lahat. So,
actually, hindi, Coach eh. Sabi nila sa akin kanina, ayaw nila eh. Pinilit mo daw eh. Okay, taka. Brit, Sarah, and Aaron, kasama na ba kayo dun sa yung last na championship? Kasama kayo lahat dun? Pati,
Dalawa kami.
Okay, dalawa. Okay, sige. So, Brit, pag-usapan natin yan. Nawala yung kampyonato sa inyo last year.
Yeah.
So, ano yung pakiramdam na yon? And then, ano yung motivation nyo this year since kasama kayong dalawa ni Aaron dun sa last championship?
Siguro bumalik kami sa motivation namin na kailangan namin yung runs namin maging maganda sa training session namin. Kailangan ma-perfect namin siya. And hanggang sa nakuha namin yung connection na yon nung last 2 weeks na lang bago mag-competition.
Wow! 2 weeks na lang, ha?
Kaya yun yung naging motivation namin. Doon kami kumapit para pabawi namin ulit yung nawalang medal sa amin last year sa Francis M.
Aaron, can you explain to those, kasi sa mga performers, syempre, kapag nag-rehearse kayo, kapag nag-practice kayo, kapag nag-run-through kayo, there's always that one run-through na feeling nyo na, oh, nakuha na namin. Ito yung performance level namin. Can you explain yung feeling ninyo, yung nagawa nyo yun?
Yung yun nga yung sabi ng co-captain po namin, si Brit. Last 2 weeks namin siya nakuha na, ay, ito na, umaabot tayo sa peak, aabot tayo sa competition, kahit sa maliit na preparasyon namin para dun sa UAAP, umabot pa din kami doon. Tapos, syempre, sobrang saya namin. Tapos, nakuha namin siya sa paraang kalmado kami. Kasi, pag sobrang aggressive kami, doon papasok yung, pag na-hype kami, parang may malalaglag o sa mga susunod na run. Kaya ang sabi namin sa mga captain, sa mga teammate po namin is, kailangan kalmado lang tayo. Hayaan natin na huwag tayo magpadala doon sa overhype natin. Kasi minsan, pag naging overhype tayo, pwedeng malaglag sa gantong segment or like sa pyramid or stance.
Okay, Sarah. Baguhan, first-timer. Tell us about yung experience ng joining something as big as this. Alam naman natin, the Cheerdance competition, this is the biggest in the country. Grabe ang pressure, FEU pa, tapos gusto pang bumawi ng mga kapitan nyo. So, ikwento mo sa amin yung pakiramdam mong yun.
Actually, kabatch ko lang din si Ayalin,
Okay.
si Aaron. Pero ngayong season lang po ako naglaro. And, ayun, first and last season. So, siguro
First and last?
First and last.
Wow, gusto lang manalo, tapos alis na, ha? Hit and run. Hindi, go ahead. Sorry.
Siguro po, yung kung paano sila eager na manalo, kung paano sila eager na kunin ulit yung corona, ibalik sa Moraita. Siguro yun yung nag-affect sa amin as a team, hindi lang para sa akin din, na ganun yung pinakita nila sa amin. So, ganun din yung magiging isa ng team. Yun din yung galaw ng isang team pag same captain and captain yung ganun yung pananaw sa isang tao.
Coach, you take a look at yung routine ninyo, and obviously with the point total 702.5, very technical ngayon yung Cheerdance competition. How did you make sure na, okay, may benchmark tayo, kailangan natin abutin to. What did it take for you to get yung team ready to execute properly? And of course, the level of difficulty, I'm sure, was a factor as well.
Ano naman yung cheerleading, very categorical, no? Tapos may mga may limitation sa paggawa ng stunts. So we tried our best to hit yung pinakamataas na posible for us. Then pagka talagang hindi kaya, nagda-downgrade na kami kagad. Kasi or pagka hindi kaya ng kulang kami sa hinga in between segments, nagdadagdag na kami kagad. Kasi nung Francis M, medyo napilit namin yung segments eh. Tapos 2 days na lang saka ako nag-adjust. So sabi ko this year, hindi na mauulit yung Francis M. Pag di nyo nagawa yan ng last 2 weeks, adjust na tayo kagad. So yun yung naging mas naging aware kami na, teka lang, ilang araw na lang. So pag basta ito, deadline mo to ha, pag di nyo to nagawa, palit na. Pag nagawa, tuloy tayo.
So coach, deadline nyo talaga na 2 weeks ago. So that last practice, yung na-feel nyo nakuha niya yung performance level, was that yung last practice before you have to change things para mas komportable kayo?
Actually, yung may mga segments kasi kami na parang kahit yata last 2 weeks, alanganin na to. So huwag na natin hintayin. So ang ginawa namin, nagpalit na ako agad. Tapos actually, up to the last day or last 2 days before compet, nag-adjust pa ako eh. Pero minor na lang. Kasi nga, kumbaga yung mga suggestions ng mga tao. So, tinake into consideration namin lahat yun.
Okay, speaking of awareness and yung adjustment, Brit, sa simula ng routine, may konting palya. May mga tumbles, alam niyo yun, di ba, sa nangyari. How do you stay composed para tapusin yun at parang hindi pansinin yung mga nangyari sa simula? Dahil napakaganda nung tapos nyo, ang linis, ang lakas, ang taas, kumpleto. Pero yung palya doon sa simula, how do you stay focused on the goal kahit na ganun yung nangyari? Nakikita nyo ba yun?
Yes, napapansin namin yung mga mistakes namin sa una, yung mga part na yun. Kaso, tumatatak sa amin yung sinasabi ni Coach Randall sa amin na, hindi, pag nagkamali, move on na, diretso na. Hindi mo na pwedeng balikan kasi pag nag-stay ka doon, lalo kang mawawala eh. Lalo pag nagro-routine na siya. So, imbis na mag-stay ka doon sa mga mali na yun, move forward ka na kagad, mas galingan mo na lang sa mga kasunod. Para mabawi mo yung mga mali.
Bilis eh. That's what
kailangan mabilis talaga ka mag-adjust
sa loob. Sobra.
Grabe. And that strong mentality led to the championship, the second in 3 years. Congratulations to all of you.
21 ba? 21 podium finishes. All in all, pinakamarami. Tama ba? FEU. Wow! Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the FEU Cheering Squad, congratulations again. Maraming salamat. And hopefully, we get to talk to you again very soon. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Oh, sure. Iwan nyo na yung mga medalya nyo muna. Kami na bahala ni Paolo dyan. Alright, after the break, we'll break down LaSalle's big win in Game 2 of the UAAP Men's Basketball Finals naman. So, stay tuned. You're watching the game.
Now, just when we thought the stakes can't get any higher, DLSU forces a do-or-die Game 3 against UP. Let's break down Game 2 with UAP analyst Jarrell Lim, who's with Boom Gonzalez over there.
There's the extra energy from Paulo Del Rosario after the DLSU win. Jarrell, good to see you again, my man. Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back. Boom.
Okay, parang mirror image yung nangyari.
Yeah.
Game 1 and Game 2, baliktaran lang
That's right.
in terms of, you can talk about the numbers, the way the game was played, the defense, the offense. So let's talk about the numbers first. Tell us what you saw. Tell me what popped out and explain to me game number 2.
That's right. I mean, we were really caught off guard. All of us were really expecting a grinded out Game 2. But to our surprise, it went the opposite way, right? And just to quickly go through the numbers, DLSU hit only 2 3-pointers back in Game 1.
Out of 23 attempts.
Out of 23.
Right.
But this time around, they hit 12. And in contrary, UP Fighting Maroons hit 9 in Game 1. But this time around, just 2 for 19.
Yeah.
So that was one of the bigger factors. But aside from that, it's the rebounding numbers. Game 1, UP dominated the rebounding game. They had more offensive rebounds. They showed that they really wanted it more. They had one of the key stats there is the second chance points. Correct. They had a lot more compared to the Green Archers. But this time around, it's the complete opposite.
Yep.
Just like the 3-point made.
Right.
The Green Archers had 58 rebounds, and while the UP Fighting Maroons just had 46. So those two were the biggest stat line that made the biggest difference in that game.
If I'm not mistaken, 55 rebounds ang UP in game number 1, 41 rebounds ang DLSU. And the funny thing was the first quarter ended with almost the same score.
Right.
27-24, 28-24 yata yung game number 1, right? And then second and third quarter, just a drop by UP compared to the drop
in the Game 1.
Parang these two schools, sabi mag-usap muna tayo, gawin natin Game 1, Game 2, ganito. Okay. So, series is tied, 1-1. That is the team overall picture that you just gave us. Tell us about players who stood out and how did they stand out?
Right. I mean, two key players for the Green Archers. It was Francis Escandor and Joshua David. I mean, one hell of a ball game for these two. They both hit 4 3-pointers at a really, really high clip. 4 out of 5 for Francis Escandor, 4 out of 6 for Joshua David, and they were both plus 19 when it comes to efficiency. So they really stepped up big for Coach Topex.
Okay, it's one thing to make the shots, and sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not. But was it intentional though, Jarrell? Was it off a particular offense that you saw, or was it on broken plays? Tell me what you saw in game number 2.
So back in Game 1, I noticed how the Green Archers kept wanting to push the ball, look for their fast break plays. But in game number 2, they really slowed the ball down. They crossed the half court, and Evan Nelly and Joshua David would just pull back and set up their offense, go to their secondary offense, and that's where they hit their 3-pointers. So something I also noticed is how confident that Francis Escandor and Joshua David took those shots. So we can assume that Coach Topex really encouraged them to take those shots. Don't hesitate, just trust in it and just take it.
I said it on the air, and it's very tough. You're doing the game, it's different from watching a game, right? So when you're doing the game, you have completely different things going on in your head and in front of your eyes also, because you're looking differently at different things that are happening all over the court. And I thought that LaSalle got into their offense faster, and whether it was from a team standpoint, but even individually, I kept saying, KQ did not wait, he did not jab, there were no jab stepping, they just went and did their thing, and these guys, among others, benefited from a lot of those passes. Did you see the same thing, or was I imagining all of this, Jarrell?
That's on point, Boom. Really, there weren't any hesitations at all. I felt like back in Game 1, they were like second guessing what they were doing. Maybe they had the jitters back in Game 1, but this time around, they really regrouped and they were much more confident.
All right, and then Mike Phillips, who was incredible in game number 1, started off with the same energy. In game 2, he kept attacking, but then he had a little help from Kuya Ben today or yesterday. Not much in terms of the minutes, but tell me what you saw from the brothers.
These two brothers really set the tone for the Green Archers. They brought in the energy that they needed. I mean, Mike Phillips back in game 1, he had one hell of a game, but it was his Kuya Ben this time around. He didn't play much back in game 1, around 2 minutes, and he's not even part of the rotation of Coach Topex for the most part. But when Coach Topics called him and he really delivered for them. He had 3 offensive rebounds that were big.
Yes.
And he may not have the numbers, just 2 points, 4 rebounds, but it's the energy, the way he doubled the ball screens, the way he dove for the ball.
Right.
It's really the energy he brought in.
And the 2 points, but that layup from a great Evanelli pass.
Right.
The dive that he made was really crucial. All right, that's all LaSalle. Now let's shift our attention to UP. Sabi natin, parang it just flipped the script. The 2 guys or some guys who did very well in game number 1 had a tough time in game number 2. Who did you look at for game number 2?
So the first guy was Aldous Turkulas.
Okay.
Back in game 1, he was the spark plug for the Fighting Maroons. He had 9 points, 10 rebounds. But he tried to do the same in game 2, but wasn't as efficient compared to game 1. He only had 4.6 rebounds, but more than that, minus 19 in terms of efficiency. So I felt like he wasn't able to level up to the energy that Kuya Ben and Mike Phillips brought in game 2.
All right, interesting. And then the other guy is a veteran. That's a first-timer. Jerry Abadiano has been part of this 3-year championship run, and you wanted to highlight this, Jerry.
Jerry Abadiano was a guy who really stepped up big for Coach Gold this season. And he did the same in game 1, 10 points, 3 steals, and plus 15. But this time around, he was still looking for his shots, but it may be a little bit forced sometimes, and he wasn't making it. So he only had 3 points and 1 steal, minus 8 during the time he was on the floor. Not as efficient compared to his game 1.
The disruptive defense of UP in game number 1 was mirrored by that disruptive defense of De La Salle from the start of game number 2. Okay, I'm going to close this. I'm going to ask you, what is your prediction? Not in terms of who's going to win, but how is this game 3 going to go? We've had 2 blowouts, Jarrell, but exciting blowouts.
Exciting ones.
Yes.
So game 3 is definitely going to be exciting. It's anyone's ball game, and I think it will go down to 2 things. So one is how each team will execute and run their plays to perfection, and the next thing is who from their bench will step up big in game 3. Because as we know, in game 1, you had Aldous Turkulas, you had Jerry Abadiano. For game 2, you had Francis Escandor and Joshua David. And we know that the main guys, Evanelli, KQ, Cancino, Malik Diop, they're all going to step up big.
Right.
But this time around, the question is, who will step up from their other squad, from their other platoon in game 3?
It's going to be a blockbuster. Game number 3, Paolo.
You have no idea how excited I am for this one. Incredible occasion that's going to be. And all of that's going to happen very, very soon. Again, thank you very much, Jarrell. After the break, we'll talk about the finals of the AIA Sevens Football League. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Back, you're watching The Game. The AA Sevens Football League concluded its 8th season over the weekend with teams coming out on top. In the men's division, Manila Digger FC swept the championships for Local 1 and 2 in the league. The squad won over Sino FC with a 1-2 victory and clinched the championship from Paha FC with a 3-0 score in the comeback period. Meanwhile, it was another thrilling matchup over in the women's division. Kaya Iloilo FC won over Manila Digger FC with a gritty 1-0 win. This win marks the team's 4th consecutive championship in the league.
Sinasabi ko nga, lalo na sa mga Pinoy, sabi ko sa kanila na kunin natin to. Sayang kasi binigyan tayo ng opportunity maglaro. So, take natin. Yung mindset talaga namin, mag-champion talaga. Kasi nga, binigyan kami ng chance maglaro. So, mindset namin mag-champion na talaga.
Sobrang saya kasi this year maganda yung run ng Kaya. Ito yung parang end na ng ano namin for this year. So, good thing at nakuha namin yung champion din ngayon.
When it comes to the driving force behind the sevens, I look around and I see smiling faces from all the kids, you know. One of the main things that was lacking out here for football in the country was platforms for kids to play. We say we need to take this and we need to grow this into all of the other cities in the country. So we've been able to push this into 12 other cities across the Philippines here. The league started here in BGC with 8 teams, right? Just 8 men's teams. Now we are in 12 cities with over 500 teams across the country. And this is what our role is to do here in the country. You know, our role here is to be able to create that opportunity for all of the players in all of the provinces from Mindanao, Negros to the NCR to be able to showcase themselves. And here's where we do it. The AIA Philippines, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You know, they put all of the smiles on these kids' faces. It's not me, it's not just the football, it's people like AIA that make this possible. Come catch us at Sevens Football League on IG and on Facebook.
AIA is present in 18 markets across Asia, actually, and in all of the countries that we operate in, we are big supporters of football. For a very long time, we have a long history of supporting football, particularly in the Philippines. AIA has been working with Anton and the Sevens even before the pandemic to bring football closer to more Filipinos. For us at AIA, this is important because it helps us bring to life our purpose to help people live healthier, longer, better lives. So for us, it's important to help people have access to different types of activities, sports and football being among those, and to find ways to make it fun.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
And I'm Paulo De Rosario. This has been The Game.